Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, I want to talk about the bus driver narrative because it's starting to get a little ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that I don't agree in regards to guys who are the main stars of teams who've had to win championships with less should be given a certain level of respect that maybe others who are on packed teams don't get. If you're on a super team, you had a lot of depth. You know what I mean? You had a third star that was as good as the team you're going against first star in the finals, and you swept them or something like that. If you had that type of situation, I don't think you should be able to compare it to Michael Jordan, um, his first couple championships when he didn't have the talent, when there was no, um, you know, some of the players that he won with in a later era that made that team crazy great. I don't think you can put them in the same sentence as somebody who's on a super team like that. So yeah, I get it. But now it's getting to a point where, correct me if I'm just being paranoid or whatever it is, but now it's like, all right, they started the bus narrative conversation on TNT with Chuck. They did the whole charade, had him on a bus, a real actual bus, and they rode down the street. It was all fun and games, ha ha ha. 2, 3 weeks later, he gets on ESPN, uses the bus narrative, uses the phrase where rather, and all of a sudden ESPN's reporting on it like it hasn't been something that was been discussed 2 weeks ago. And to me, correct me if I'm being paranoid, but isn't that just like suggestive? Doesn't it become a situation where it's like, all right, yeah, we heard him, we saw the whole bus narrative. Don't reintroduce the bus narrative. It's getting to a point where it's annoying because I see that these things are suggestive. I see that they're molding the mind of the fan bases and everybody who's paying attention to them in regards to having us view players a certain way. For example, the Russell Westbrook thing. Did he struggle mightily last year? To no end. Anybody with eyes could see he struggled. But I think in reading forums, fans are being ridiculous about what they should be trying to do in regards to acquiring his contract or what he's going to be able to bring to the table next year on the floor. Anything and everything that they've seen before this Lakers season that was a disaster. It's like none of that ever existed. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, I like having my brain function in such a way that doesn't have that suggestive stuff in it. I like being able to remember seeing Russell Westbrook put up numbers I've never seen before. I'd like to think I can remember seeing circumstances where there was a time when Charles Barkley was dunking all over people and wasn't just in the booth. You know what I mean? Like I trust that my memory can serve me fine. So I don't need to be reintroduced certain narratives to help me understand who should be respected and who shouldn't on different networks. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like this fan base got the narrative, all right. But maybe ESPN, maybe ESPN's fan base didn't see TNT, so let's make sure these fans understand the bus narrative as well. It's like you did the same thing with Russell Westbrook's reputation, done the same thing with LeBron James' reputation, did the same thing to Kobe back in the day. And they do it to everybody. They make you feel a certain way about these people. And sometimes a lot of us can't differentiate between how to view it. You hate the people in real life. You want to see something bad happen to them in real life. You want to see them fail in real life because of whatever it is in you that makes it so that you will take such suggestive information and apply it to how you feel about a human being as opposed to just looking at them as athletes and rooting for them as such. It's irresponsible to understand that this it exists in our world and to still put the suggestive nature out there. And a lot of times I don't think it's even done for reasons that the public would be even privy to. I think a lot of this stuff has to do with leverage. I think a lot of this stuff has to do with negotiations behind the scenes and how they want certain things to sway a certain way. They can get really, really political and nasty when you're dealing with agents, you're dealing with corporations, with different conflicting interests and various different things that tie them and keep them at odds and all different types of variables. And these athletes are caught up in the middle of that. and it's disgusting. It's nasty, as KD said, and that's why a fan like myself will speak up, because quite honestly, I think that the game should be bigger than that. It should be more than just about leverage and money and all of that. I understand that everything is a business. Everything's a business. But at the end of the day, this is also an art form, and it needs to be respected. It's also an entity that is evolving, a sport that is evolving. And I just don't know if somehow it should be considered whether or not we're doing damage to the process of that evolution by having the professional ranks be manipulated in this way, which can trickle down into the way that we see the game played, the way the teams are constructed, and ultimately the way the game evolves because of that. I'm thinking about certain things that just wouldn't be possible if the NBA were to get in the way. Like, what if for some reason Steph Curry and Klay Thompson weren't able to be on the same team? We would have never gotten the Golden State era. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, though we're lucky enough that never happened, what is the NBA in the way of? What is media in the way of? Or can we fathom a situation where maybe some of this pressure that's manifested by them and their interests could possibly, I don't know, help the game by just not being present? All this talk about promoting the game. I understand respecting and promoting the game and bringing controversy around the game. I love watching Skip Bayless and Shannon and those guys. They give a lot to the game. I like watching Stephen A. and those guys, Max. Why I do what I do is because I watch them do it first. But do they help? Do they help when considering some of the madness that these players complain about, that they deal with? When you consider things like this, where I can't even have a reasonable conversation about what proper value is for Russell Westbrook because people have it in their minds that he's a cancer for the basketball team no matter what. No matter what. They wouldn't give up the worst player they have and a bunch of trash they don't need to acquire his expiring contracts because they truly believe that if they acquire him, something will go wrong. Their heads will explode or something. Like, it's too far. That's what I'm saying. The suggestive nature is too far. It doesn't allow me to just look at it and say, okay, I remember a struggling player and I've come to a conclusion. No, that conclusion is exaggerated by the suggestive nature of these narratives. And so when I look at a guy like KD and he responds the way he does, says, yo, I just think it's because you're an old head, because, you know what I mean, who doesn't respect the fact that, that we got the bag, and you guys didn't from your generation. I mean, I don't know. That could be a motivating factor, but I think it's bigger than that, KD. I don't think he's even behind this. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. I don't even think he's behind this. He's going on different platforms pushing a certain phrase that will define how people view you and other players in the league who take certain paths. That affects negotiations and money and how they get to pay these guys in the future if they do certain things that maybe KD did versus things he didn't do. And with the struggles that they're having with players like Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, etc., trying to control these players, they're trying to make it so that they can change certain things in regards to how they pay these players. And if you're not a bus driver, if you're not willing to stick it out with my team because I don't have what's in place to make you better, because of bad choices that I make or just my struggle to handle the cap, I don't have to pay you the same amount of money if you can't overcome the bull crap I put you through. For example, I'm a Laker fan. Because LeBron wasn't able to get me to the championship, because he was a bus driver who didn't get us to our destination, in the future, I can negotiate and argue that he shouldn't get the same amount of money he was getting today. That's what I think that's about. That's what I think that's about. And because Chuck is attached to one of those corporations, whomever, whatever, however, my theory is they got him doing this. They got him doing this. Even if it ain't set up in such a way where they say, yo, Chuck, you are going to do this. What they're saying is probably an opportunity. That bus driver thing, huh? Yeah, that worked. Let's take that a little farther. Let's put you on a bus drive down the street. Sister network. Yeah, let's holler at them. Hey, let's push this narrative. We're going to tell your people that too. Hey, get on there and make sure you say the bus driver thing. That was really a hit. Yeah, it was a hit, all right. I know. All I'm saying is, some of us fans get it, literally get it. They don't have all of us. They don't have all of us, man. I will admit a lot of my thinking has been corrupted by their nonsense because I was raised on it. But to be completely honest with you, I'm trying to undo a lot of that. I'm trying to undo a lot of it. So as I speak, I hope to be an example of someone who doesn't have any interest in pushing forth that nonsense. You know, simple as that. The NBA gives us a lot to talk about that doesn't have anything to do with that. We can look at players and movement and tea leaves, as I like to call them, and have plenty to speak about without saying, yo, this guy doesn't deserve his money because he didn't do as much as that guy, even though the circumstances are not the same. We all know. Those of us who follow the NBA well enough, those of us who have basketball minds greater than mine, very much understand that basketball is a completely fluid and nuanced sport. Remove one piece, things can go left. Call a timeout the wrong way, things can go left. Miss a free throw here and get an offensive rebound. Suddenly the game can change in different ways. You get a 7-point play off of a technical foul and a 3-point shot made off a foul. I mean, there are different things that can happen in a game that will change the complete game itself. So there's no way of saying, okay, that guy was a bus driver, so he did it by himself. No, he didn't. Dellavedova was out there damn near killing himself. He wasn't by himself. He wasn't by himself. Professional players are on the floor giving it their all. No one's by themselves. Now, if the GMs and then the organization is able to put enough quality talent to make it make sense, then players will get the most out of themselves. They will see what their talent can get done. But this notion that guys should be respected because they've won more or haven't won more, I don't think that stuff is backed a lot of times as it's presented to you by the integrity of upholding those standards. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's the motivating factor at all. And that's the moral of what it is I have to say. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.